Cyril Ramaphosa will today undertake a working visit to Maputo for a consultative meeting convened to discuss developments in Lesotho. Spokesperson for the Deputy President, Ronnie Mamoepa, says that the meeting is part of ongoing SADeC efforts to consolidate peace and stability in Lesotho. Thabane is expected to face the SADeC Commission in Lesotho. Now, for an update on this story, we're joined on the line by our SABC reporter, Nthakoana Ngatane. Ngatane, a very good morning to you. And can you give us an update of what is currently happening in Lesotho?
Good morning, Elvis. This morning, the Commission started with the testimony from one of the exiled opposition leaders, and that is the leader of the Basotho National Party, BNP, Tsele Masiribane. He is Thabane's ally, and they have been in South Africa. And this commission has come to South Africa, to Thabane in the Free State, to hear testimony from these opposition leaders, their supporters who have also fled into South Africa, some soldiers that have fled into South Africa, as well as other civilians. And so that is expected to take the good part of this morning. We're on a break at the moment. And then following his testimony this morning, we're expecting to hear Thabane testify before this commission. And that's a moment that's being waited for by a lot of people. We have a lot of his supporters who have already arrived here at the venue and are waiting for his testimony. Elvis?
Is there a lot of interest in this case, or do the people in Lesotho, do they also have faith in the commission, or don't they just care about this?
Well, there is a lot of interest, that I can tell you. In fact, when the commission started in Lesotho, because there it was broadcast live on radio and television, a lot of people followed it on a daily basis, and the venue where it is held was full at all times. But now that it's moved here, and we've seen less interest in terms of people physically attending, but the radio stations are represented and the media from Lesotho are represented here, and they take the news back home to Lesotho to broadcast it to listeners there. And so here today, as I say, that's when we are now starting to see a lot of supporters of the leaders that are in exile in South Africa attending in person this commission. They're dressed in their party regalia from the Basotho Convention, and as well as the Basotho National Party. They're dressed in their colors and attending the proceedings today as their leaders testify before the commission. Elvis?
Now, the talks has been ongoing, but how effective is our Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa's involvement in the talks been so far, Nthakoana?
Well, I will tell you this, Elvis. A lot of the witnesses that appear before this commission offer their opinions in terms of how they think he has done. And I can give you an example of yesterday's testimony by the leader of the Reform Congress of Lesotho, Keketso Rantsho. She was asked by one of the commissioners, Commissioner Mokgotsi, whether she believed Lesotho would ever get off the SADC agenda in terms of countries that are troubled. And her response to that went directly to Mr. Ramaphosa's facilitation in Lesotho as well as SADC, and she specifically said that she didn't think it was effective. And she even said that, in fact, the reason that the commission is here, the reason that they are in exile, the reason that they're testifying in exile is because that facilitation was not effective. She even mentioned that in terms of the events in Lesotho, where the return of the security heads agents, or the heads of security agencies that had been taken on leaves of absence after the facilitation by Mr. Ramaphosa, their return also bringing about a lot of unhappiness, where the first person to come back was the fired army commander, according to Thabane. He was presented there by facilitator, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, where the other two heads of security agencies, the Commissioner of Police and the appointed army commander, had not returned at that time. And she indicated this as one of those things that showed that when those two came back, immediately they were fired by the new government, and Nthakoana was reappointed by the new government. So she cited this as one of the reasons why she says that Lesotho is back in trouble as opposed to getting out of that trouble. Elvis?
Now, former Prime Minister Thabane is likely to be at the commission today and testify. What is he likely to say, you think?
Well, as I say, a lot of his supporters are here dressed in their party regalia, and really people are waiting to hear what he has to say. And I'm sure those who are back in Lesotho are also waiting to get the news from their radio stations and respective media in terms of what he will say in front of this commission. But as I can tell you, it is really, really awaited his testimony before this commission. Elvis?
Nthakoana, thank you so much for that update. That's our reporter, our SABC reporter, Nthakoana Ngatane, live from Lesotho.